What it is, guys, it's your boy icjosh, and basically in this episode of Dragon Ball Super, what happened and how it started out was Pilaf wakes up, goes into Bulma's fucking lab, and is like, you know what? I see this computer, let's see what she's got running on her, let's see if I can help and do anything out. So he gets on the computer, you know, starts typing, and then Bulma gets done with the work that she's doing at the current time, turns and looks at him, and she freaks out. She's like, what are you doing? Messing around, fucking up all of my stuff, and you did a good job. How did you do that? Who are you really? And that's when Pilaf is kind of like, you know, I'm gonna stick this sucker in my mouth. I'm an ordinary kid, and you know, I just got lucky. So which brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about is Gowasu and Zamasu. So for their segment, their screen time that they're getting, we see that Gowasu is kind of observing these barbarians, these human like creatures that are just, you know, barbaric, and every time they see each other, you know, they have to go fight night on each other. Zamasu is, you know, doing the same thing he normally does every day, and basically he's making his tea, and he gives him the tea, and you know, Gowasu goes to drink it, and he's like, tea's kind of bitter. And if you remember what he said before was that before Goku showed up, you know, it was Zamasu's tea was kind of sweet, and he was like, you know, you have pure heart, and that's why your tea's so sweet and tastes so like delicious and stuff. Now he's saying that it's bitter. So basically it's like you can tell that Zamasu's changing, and he's kind of like, so you know, it's bitter, everything all right? He's like, look, I put the same amount of leaves as I did before, so it should taste the same. And he's like, you sure it's the leaves and not you? And he's like, hey, look, all I can say is I did what I did. If it came out that way, drink it. Just drink it. Now, we see that, that he goes and he starts talking about these barbarians, and he's like, you know, maybe they'll, maybe in 1,000 years they'll change their ways, start getting civilized. And that's when Zamasu's like, you know, I don't think so. I think they're going to be the same way because, you know, they're humans, and humans tend, like all these other like human-like creatures, tend to do the same things and basically tend to, you know, kill themselves and all that stuff. So we could just clean them up. And that's when Gowasu's like, what are you talking about, clean them up? He's like, well, you know, exterminate, eliminate, kill, destroy. And he's like, look, we can't do anything like that. It's the god of destruction that comes in and takes control over those situations. We can't do anything. And then he's like, look, I'm just saying we can get rid of them right now and stop the problem. It's not going to change. So basically, Gowasu has an idea of basically going and showing them the time rings. And he's like, so you really want to see and observe how these people are in 1,000 years? How about we go to the planet now, see what they're doing right now, and then go into the future 1,000 years. So that's exactly what they do. They go there and they're talking, and he's like, look, only Kaioshin can actually, you know, time travel using these rings and everything. So I'm going to grant you temporary access of being a Kaioshin so you can go and time travel with me as well. So he basically gives him the ring. He puts it on his ear. He's like, don't put it on the other ring or we'll fuse together and, you know, it won't be undone. We'll just stay fused. And he's like, unless you want to fuse with me and be, you know, and become a stronger Kaioshin, then go all at it. And Gowasu's kind of like, I mean, do you want to? Do you really want to? Zamasu looks at him. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm good on that one. I'm good on that one. Gives him the Drake hand. He's like, I'm good. I don't want it. He gives him the temporary access to being a Kaioshin, puts it on his ear. So that's kind of one thing to being like, okay, so he already has, you know, the ring on right now. And then basically you have to say, you know, the 1,000 years, whatever, to the future or whatever. And then like you'll go 1,000 years to the future, and they see everything, and they basically see that they kind of had like a little bitty rock civilization. We can see that, you know, it hasn't advanced that much. It's just, you know, they do have like kind of rock houses and build fires now, and they still basically go fight night on each other every time they see each other. We get to see that, and after that ends, I'm thinking that to myself, like, this is probably the perfect time for Zamasu to probably kill Gowasu and, you know, already have the earring and already be promoted temporary, you know, Kaioshin. So I mean, he'd be able to manipulate time and, you know, travel through time at any point in time now. How many damn times am I gonna say time? But yeah, it'd be a good time for him to kill him. and basically just take all of his powers and know what to do now, become evil. And yeah, that could be what happens a couple, episodes from now. We basically see him turning evil like that and killing Gowasu. So another thing that actually happened in this episode, we see that Beerus and Whis are kind of going back to like, I'm laughing on this one because they're going back to Earth, and literally they crash super hard, and Beerus and Goku are like literally laying on the ground like twitching, and Whis is kind of like, look, if y'all hadn't been fighting and stuff, he's like, maybe I would have been able to get a soft landing, but since you were like fidgeting back there, he's like, I wasn't able to really calculate how fast we were going and the impact and to stop when we needed to stop. So that's on y'all. Beerus is like, no, you did that shit on purpose. Don't lie to me. And it's kind of funny to see that comedy, but then we go in and we see that they're basically explaining their encounter with Zamasu and Gowasu the first time they seen him. And everybody's like looking around like, well, okay, so is that him? What's happening? And basically it's like, well, it's not him, now, but Beerus is kind of like, look, like, we're not going to rule this out because it's not him now. He's not black now, but here in the future, he could definitely become black. So that's what we're saying. Like, now, no, he's not that big threat, but here in a little bit, he will be. One good thing that I see about this one thing that I really want to talk about a lot on this one was Vegeta and Trunks training. We see that Trunks is basically doing, I think it was his mind training or whatever that he was basically doing by himself, or he's sitting in the lake, his little pond, and he was just, training. I think it might have been figure training or something that he was basically doing in his mind, to where, he was playing out all kinds of scenarios and all kinds of ways that he could try to beat Black, and he wasn't, getting anywhere close. He was always losing at every time. We see that Mai and Shu are watching them, and it's hilarious that, Shu was like telling her like, hey, you can't bother him while he's doing this, he's training. I understand it, basically, I'm a warrior myself, and hey, we gotta give him his space and let him train. So it's funny to see Mai and her little, I guess, figure training in her mind, and like, she literally is basically like fixating like her on her deathbed, and like about to give like Trunks a kiss. Like that's hers. It's like they're about to kiss. So it's kind of funny to see that, and it's like, I mean, if you really wanted to do that, I mean, I understand why she's going after this Trunks, because she's definitely, an older woman for real. But seeing that, and then seeing Trunks like come back, start walking off, and he's like meted by Vegeta that's like, let's go, I'm gonna train you. And then, it shocks him. He's like, what? You're gonna train me? Yeah. So he does get training from Vegeta, and basically in this training, Vegeta's basically telling them to be stronger and kind of like trying to make him show that he doesn't need to rely on everybody else, and he needs to get strong himself. And what's pretty funny about this, whenever they power up, Trunks goes straight to Super Saiyan 2, and he's like, okay, he's like, let's do this. Don't hold back like Goku. Go Super Saiyan 3 right off the bat. And Vegeta bust out laughing, which was a pretty epic fucking scene, was when he bust out laughing, and he was like, Super Saiyan 3, bitch, you getting Super Saiyan Blue. And went Super Saiyan Blue on him, and Trunks was like, whoa, nobody told me nothing about this. What the fuck? And he's like, don't hold back at all. He's like, if you can manage to hit me, then hey, I'll acknowledge it, and we'll get you stronger for real. Like, just if you can hit me, just one punch. And it kind of gives you that scene to back in Dragon Ball Z, whenever I think it was right before the martial arts tournament, whenever Goku's supposed to come back. It was Vegeta and Kid Trunks like in their training room, and Vegeta was like, this is a man's gravity and all that shit. And then that's when Kid Trunks went Super Saiyan for the first time, and then he was just like, what the hell? He's like, look, if you can manage to punch me one time, I'll take you to the park. So it's kind of reminiscent on that, and basically giving us that kind of comparison there, except like man to man, But I did enjoy that part, and it was fun to see how Trunks went Ultra Saiyan, even though he wasn't as buff as he was back in Z. Like, he went Ultra Saiyan, he did buff up a lot, and Vegeta got pissed and was just like, you're gonna really use these imperfect, impure kind of transformations on me that's completely futile and you know they're terrible? Like, you're gonna use that against me? Okay. So he's like, runs in at him, basically charges to him, and Trunks shifts back into Super Saiyan 2 real quick, and he's like, oh, so he's switching everything up. You know, he led me in basically like, you're gonna give me this like bulky form that I know is slow, but then revert back to your fast one. So it was nice to see that. It was nice to see that strategy, that, you know, Trunks really wasn't just gonna go in airheaded like that, and he actually had a strategy what he was gonna try to do. So I really like that. Ultimately, we see that while they're fighting, Goku kind of like wakes up because he senses Vegeta's ki and Trunks' ki, and he's like, oh, they're fighting. Vegeta's actually training him. Holy shit. So he goes and picks Bulma up, and Bulma comes back. She's like bitching, and she's like, what? Why did you bring me? Blah, blah, blah. You know I got to do all this shit. And then he's like, be quiet. You know, Trunks and Vegeta are training. Your son and, you know, your husband are training right now. This is a good moment. And it's good to see that Trunks, after they've kind of like fought and looks like it's over, you know, Trunks smiles a little bit because he's like, yeah, you know, Father and Goku could beat Black if they wanted to, if they were there. And he's like, for a second, it looks like he's gonna just rely on them to do it. And that's when Vegeta gets even more pissed and is like, you can't do that. What the hell? Like, you are saying, if you are my child, if you are, you know, a Saiyan with the Saiyan blood in you that flows, you know, what the hell are you doing, you know, trying to be like this? No, you need to get stronger yourself. I was like, just because Black is here does not mean that once you beat Black, or say we beat Black for you, then what's stopping somebody else stronger than Black from coming in, and then you have to run back here again. So I did like that, and I like the fact that he ends up headbutting him off guard, and it's basically kind of like, hey, I landed a hit, you know, and goes to help him up, and Vegeta's like, fuck that shit. And Bulma gets mad as fuck, and she's like, you stupid Vegeta, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, come on now. He's like, you said it, he hit you, and why are you running off like that? And basically Goku has to tell him, he's like, look, this is how Saiyans do it, and this is how we're kind of like showing that compassion, kind of like, you know, it's not like we're going to be balling out and everything, but it's more the, you know, this is how we basically, you know, train somebody else up that we care for and get them stronger and stuff. So it's good to see that. It's good to see that moment. Another good win for the Vegeta family, I have to say. Definitely for this episode, I would definitely give this a 9 out of 10 because I did enjoy it. I like the fight scenes. I like the fact that hopefully they can train up Trunks into stronger. I did say before that I would like to see him Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, but I don't think that's probably going to happen. If anything, they might do the whole share hands thing and might get him to Super Saiyan God for all I know. But I would like to see that. Definitely a 9 out of 10. So for the preview, we see that at the end of this episode, going into the preview, we see that Beerus and Whis are, you know, back at their planet, and Whis is cooking and Beerus is, you know, chilling back. His scepter's going off, and he's like, hey, you know, your scepter's going off. He's like, just look, motherfucker, I'm busy. You see I'm busy. Just answer. And he's like, hey, we're busy. Call back later. And then, you know, the spear flows from his hand, goes on the table, and it's the king of everything, or king of all, whatever. And he's like, freaks the fuck out and literally goes to bow, and his head goes straight through the fucking table. And I lost it there. Like, I was cracking up. I was cracking up on that one because I was like, that's some funny shit. That was literally funny. But the thing was, is like, he's like, hey, yeah, I know I'm calling unnoticed and everything, and sure, you're probably like doing your whole little thing where you get scared of seeing me and stuff, but yeah, I was just wanting to meet Goku. You know, I just want to meet Son Goku. And then, you know, they're like, oh my goodness. So next week we see that he's kind of meeting Goku, and a lot of things are going to go on. It looks like there's some sparring and a lot of comedy stuff that's going on for this. It's probably a little bitty filler episode and stuff. So it's good to see that. I'm going to be super excited for this one. just to see all the comedy that goes on in this one. But let me know in the comment section below, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed this episode, and what would you give this episode? What were your key things that you liked about this? Would you like seeing a little bit more of Zamasu's background and how he's going to be? Are you glad to get that Vegeta moment, you know, that Vegeta family moment with Trunks and Vegeta? I'm definitely, like I said, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it all. Guys, smack a like on the video if you enjoyed. Share the video out. Subscribe if you are new. I see we hit 900 subscribers. Yo, we're pushing the 1,000. We are pushing the 1,000. I'm super excited for that one, guys. Super excited. I'm out, guys. Peace. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to do. I might have just been moving my fucking head around and shit the whole damn time.